Hey everyone, welcome back to Childcare Tribe. In today's video, we're going to see complete information about NT, that's Northern Territory, Darwin, information about the schools, preschools, childcare, and benefits in the form of voucher that government gives for every migrant families. You can be on a temporary resident visa or a permanent resident visa. You are entitled to these benefits. So let's get started.
Medicare Tribe. You deserve to be happy.
Alright, my life in Darwin video has been a real good reach, and I have had so many queries to make this particular video from families who are planning to migrate to Darwin, who are in the process of applying for their state government sponsorship. So basically, families who are migrating with children definitely have a bit of a panic. How much schools are going to cost you, how much a childcare is going to cost you, and what are the benefits, if at all, the government is going to give you. Okay, so first, it depends on the age of your child. All right, so every case-to-case scenario differs based on which part of Darwin or which part of Northern Territory you're migrating to. So my information is based on my personal experience in the city of Darwin. So basically, I lived in the city. So my information is based on my personal experience, okay? If you're migrating with a child who is less than 4 years of age, then definitely your life is going to be a little bit challenging as mine, and it's going to be very expensive as well. But if you have a family member, your parents or your in-laws who can come and stay with you on a visitor visa, then it'll be definitely helpful. Okay, that's what we did. So basically, according to the NT legislation, children start preschool at the age of 4. So when they're 4 years old, they go into a preschool setting, which is very closely present in the same campus as your primary school, which is not the case in South Australia, Adelaide, where I live at the moment. Okay, that's why I'm doing this video, because it differs from state to state. So in NT, usually you have the preschool set up very close to the primary school, or you have it in the same campus. And even the school system, so you've got preschool, which is basically the 4-year-olds that start either morning or afternoon, which is basically a half-day session, 8:30 to 11 or 12 to 3. So a 3-hour session, you can choose to do morning or afternoon session. And then when they turn 5 is when they go into reception, which is again, it is more or less like a full-time school. So people get ready for full-time school in reception. So reception is more or less like a proper primary school setup, so that it is in the same campus of your primary school, and people or the children get used to long hours of school. That's the basic purpose of reception. And then they are in the same campus of primary school, where they study from year 1 to year 6. And in Darwin, you have a separate schools called middle schools, where you have from year 7 to year 10, which is not the case in South Australia. I'm not sure about the other states, it differs, but in Darwin, you've got a middle school, which is year 7 to year 10, and then you've got high school, which is year 11 and 12. Okay, so these are the different types of schools that you will find. Your child can fit into any of these schools depending on their age. And interestingly, Darwin also had another special kind of school called kindy or kindergarten, and there was a specific one called 3-year-old kindies, where the 3-year-olds can go, I think, once or twice a week, and then you can go to childcare. So these are the traditional ones, or the normal schoolings where you can opt for if one of you are not working, like if the husband is working, wife is at home, or wife is working, husband is at home, or if you're doing a roster kind of a job where you do mornings and other partner does in the evening, then you can manage without going to childcare. I've had so many friends who have done that. But it's not always the case. If both of you are working, then obviously you have to send your child to childcare. So childcare, again, there are two types of registered childcare. So one is private ones that you've got, which are very expensive, like $100 to $110 a day. And the other one is family daycare, where registered families do like a smaller group setting. But to me personally, if you ask, there's not much of a difference between family daycare and the proper private daycares. It'll be a matter of $10 or $20 difference, but the setup where your child grows in a private daycare or a childcare setting is totally different. They get used to all the table manners and so many habits, and they get integrated into the Australian school system very easily. That's my personal opinion, because there's not much happening in the family daycare setting. And I personally didn't like when I visited a lot of family daycares. So the amount is pretty much the same. It'll be like $11 or $12 per hour, and if you work it out for 8 to 9 hours when you go for work, it's pretty much the same. It's a matter of $10 or $20 difference. So that's the officially registered two different types of daycares that you can avail. The other option, what people usually go for, especially Asians, are choosing your friends or your neighbors who can take care of your kids for a very subsidized amount. So that works a little bit economical, cheaper, and it also gives you the flexibility if you're doing some late shifts. So proper official childcares, they close by 6 o'clock. So maybe if you want to pick your kid till 7 or 8 in the night, then probably a family daycare or a private one, which is your friend or a neighbor, will be more economical. So that's for children starting from really young age. And when you have a young child, the other benefit is swimming is something essential here. It's part of safety in Australia. So the government will give you a voucher called Learn to Swim voucher. So usually it is done with the parent. So one parent should be there with the child, where they'll introduce the child to water skills, and it's more about safety and awareness kind of a program. It's very good. It's very enjoyable how it'll help you to bond with your child in the water. If your child freaks out, my son literally freaked out when he was introduced into the water, and then he started enjoying. They'll take it really slow. They'll take it really gentle. But that's one thing that you have to apply. I will leave the link in the description below, and you can click on it and register your child's name, and you will get that Learn to Swim voucher, 2 vouchers per year. Okay, so it's $100, I think, per semester, which is once in 6 months, and you get 2 such vouchers for children who are not in the school age. Okay, so if they start going for a school setting, they're not eligible for Learn to Swim vouchers. So Learn to Swim voucher is only for children who are below the school going age. And then when you go into primary school, the advantage, so you've got government or the public schools, and then you've got the private schools. You can call it different tiers of school, like the Catholic school, which will be affordable for anyone who, if both of you are working, if you're willing to spend, and then you've got these real high or the expensive private schools. Okay, so my son went to a public school and it was really good. And when the primary school children, they go, you enroll yourself or your children in the school, you get something called as the enrollment pack or the book pack. So the government will give you funds. I think it's $150 per student, and it will cover your book, stationeries and fees and uniform, one set of uniform. So basically it's the government's initiative to bring every school age children to school. And if you can't afford, so they provide you with all the basics. So you will be spending like $50 extra out of your pocket in purchasing extra pair of uniform or t-shirt or whatever it is. So initial cost is very, very minimum in Darwin, which is not the case in South Australia. You have to pay $560 per year as the initial set of fee. But in Darwin, it's 10% of that, which works out to be cheaper for migrants who are starting off. And school-age children get something known as the NT Sports Voucher. So NT Sports Voucher is $100 sports voucher you get. You have to apply. I will leave the link in the description. So you click on it, register your child, and the voucher either comes to your house or sometimes it goes to the school if it's a reckoning. So the first time when you apply, I think you'll get through post, and later on it's just automatically given, and you can also get an electronic copy. And you also have a list of service providers for any sports or swimming, or most of the sports clubs will accept sports vouchers. Even gyms accept sports vouchers. So this $100 will be given 2 times a year for school going children. You can avail that particular option from the government. So that's about the primary school. And once your child turns finishes year 6, then they go to the middle school, which is from year 7 to year 10. So interestingly, I have tutored lots of students in Darwin, in high school and middle school. Interestingly, the curriculum or the methodology of teaching is very relaxed up to year 8, and suddenly there's this peer pressure building up from year 9 and it goes up to year 12. So your child may not be really struggling, or you might not see them really doing their homework and lots of activities related to studies, but from year 8 they'll be very, very independent, doing stuff that you would have done in masters. That's the one thing that I was really surprised when I was assisting a year 10 student to do an assignment, and it had to be plagiarism free. So plagiarism word I knew only when I was doing my masters, and the format of the assignment was very, very similar to the assignment or any draft that you would do in your master's level. So I am in love with the system of education here. But initially when you come, you'll have that culture shock that the kids are not studying, it's very relaxed, but they get to learn in their own playway method, and they get into attention to detail, and they understand every bit of what they study. It's not the case where I come from, where you have a very superficial knowledge of too many things. You don't master everything, so you're just jack of all trades, master of none. But here people get to choose their subjects in your year 10, 11 and 12, what studies you want to do, and based on that you choose your subjects. And it is a whole different system in year 11 and 12. I can do a separate video about the SACE, which is the South Australian curriculum for NT and South Australia, about stage 1 and 2, which is year 11 and year 12. So it is intense, it is very intense, and it's a very good system. So this is the overview of the school systems, about childcare, about preschool, about primary school, and then you've got middle school, and you've got your high school. The main difference between your childcare and when your child starts school is childcare is very expensive, like I said, $100 to $120 a day. Whereas when they start school, they can go to something called as OSH, which is outside our school care. That's before school and after school care. So if the school starts at 8, then you have the OSH starting as early as 6 o'clock. So you have to pay for those 2 hours where you can drop the kids at 7 in the morning. And from the OSH, they can go to the school, and you can have after school hours care, which is very, very economical compared to your childcare. So that's one best thing when a child starts school. You need not worry about the childcare fees, which is very, very expensive, because that is something every migrant struggles with. So I hope this video was useful. And if you have any questions, feel free to comment in the comment below. And if you like such videos, please do subscribe to my channel, and I will see you all in the next video.